Hey guys, this is Brian Sykes with Are We There Yet? Today it's June 11th as I'm doing this quick recording, and what I wanted to do is walk you through a project that was done literally at the last minute. So this is Thursday, June 11th. We are literally hitting the road June 16th to begin our travels, as you know. And over the last several weeks, I have been busy with a project that I've shared on my Instagram account, but not really put out there on YouTube or Substack. So let me kind of walk you through what this thing is and what it involved. First, it is a trailer that was a hauling trailer that we believe Alan, Trish's dad, had built. No way of knowing because Alan passed away April 25th of last year, prime of his health. And just kind of a shock to everyone. We had his funeral May 1st. Things kind of sat still for a minute up at his property. The property sold, and so Trish and I loaded up most everything from his house, and we brought it back to Moore County using his trailer to do so. That was on September 8th. Now, from that point up until May 18th, we were brainstorming ideas. Now, this is where Wes, my youngest, and I we're kind of looking at, okay, what do we want to build? What are we trying to accomplish here? And nothing was really happening, not for some time. Well, May 18th, I jumped in and I began disassembling the trailer in order to start this whole construction process. So I'm going to walk you through with a series of videos that I've shared on Instagram, the entire storyline of this trailer to camper conversion. Okay, this is kind of jumping in early mid-project and haven't really shown you what I'm doing. So I kind of wanted to catch you up a little bit on what in the world's going on. And here we go. First, check out this little bird right there. He decided he's going to investigate what I'm doing. He's over here chirping. This is the project that I'm working on. This is a trailer that came from Trish's dad, and it was in pretty rough shape. Looks like probably something had dropped on the corner and broken it. So I've taken all these busted out pieces and I'm in the process of disassembling the top structure. So just now I've actually cut this piece. This actually I'm gonna have to reinforce and put that back together. But I'm gonna try to cut all of this out, leaving that side rail. Anyway, this is what I've got and been working on this morning. And it's kind of coming together. This is all got to come out. It's all got to be taken apart because that's rotten and busted. These aren't the right wheels. This actually is when we were bringing the trailer here. We had a blowout. And so I'm going to clean those wheels and get new tires for them. So this is the project. And what we're going to do with this is turn this into a camper trailer. Just wanted to kind of catch up on where things are and what's happening. And the crazy thing is I've got a window this big because we're in the process of leaving in just a few weeks. And those few weeks are going to be the start of a 3+ year living across the country. So I'm literally doing all this with the tools before I put them in storage. And it's a little bit insane. So this is the week to get things done. Follow along if you're interested. This is crazy. Oh, Brian Sykes, peace out. Okay, so I managed to get all the lumber off of this thing. Let me show you what we've got. Here's all the boards, and that was the bottom, which is completely rotted out. I've washed the whole thing down with a pressure washer, and this is about as good as it's going to get. Do have a few bolts to remove that's inside of there. And here's the plan. Right now, you've got this railing that goes all the way around except for this little spot that I've left empty. And what I'm going to do is put 2x4s along the inside of this. And what that'll do for me is it'll give me a solid base in which to secure the trailer part or the camper part. So right here will be the door access that's going to let you get into the camper. It's going to come up straight, go at an angle, and go straight back. It'll be a 4x8 sheet tall. That's 4x8. 1.5 pieces will fit inside of here. So that's kind of the plan right now, is let this dry well, and then I'm going to put a primer coat on the bare metal parts, get a full coating of paint on the whole thing, and build the bed that'll go in place. That's all for now. Also, you'll see that the wire running through here is for the tail lights, for turning and for brakes. I don't know what the quality of that is, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it, at least the wiring. And these lights don't look too bad, so we'll see if they work. It's easy enough to replace if need be. So this is the trailer at this moment. The back of the trailer here, there will be a little kitchen section here, so you can lift the little kitchen door and have access to a sink and some cabinets for storing food stuff. These wheels, like I mentioned before, will be changed out with those when I get some new ones. The metal part will be black. The wood that's going to be sided or whatever, that will end up being kind of like a sage green. And this is work in progress. Since Wes had the truck, we used it to go grab lumber from Lowe's, and then we secured the treated 2x4s to the railing. This gives it stability and strength. We painted the bottom side of our plywood base. Wesley also went around and with the securing of the railing, he also smoothed down the wheel wells, ground up any screws that were sticking out, and then we flipped over that plywood base once it was ready, and we actually secured it down to the metal framing underneath. And these are the self-tapping screws. Those are pretty cool. So we got a lot done when Wes was able to work with me on this. All right, let me walk you through what we got going on. First, pay attention to this paint. It's an indoor-outdoor paint, exterior, and this is something that we use to coat the bottom of the pressure-treated plywood that works as the bottom or the base of our trailer. This is the trailer bed, and it's not been secured yet, but you'll see the little bits of blue that runs along the edges of it. It's because the whole thing's been coated blue, and Wesley did that work. This just gives us a layer of protection for water and such. Okay, what we've done also is we put a 2x4 rail down the whole side, as I mentioned before. There's going to go a 2x6 is going to go here, since there is no other framing or metal that's here, and so that'll be secured with the holes that you see here on this side. Same for this side, there's already holes made, and that'll drop it down. I've already cut that piece, and that'll go in here. Now, yes, the railing on this is a little bit wiggly, and if you look right down the top, there is a slight curve. It does bow out about right there. There's really not much I can do about that. We've hammered it a little bit. I'll take the screw out in a little bit and try to pull this over tighter. But as we kind of walk down through here, you'll see this is a large bow out segment, and we've played with this one. We're gonna get a longer screw to really pull this in tighter. Where it dips down is the problem, because that lip wants to catch on the wood. But we're working on that. We've also got a 2x4 that's going to go across here, and it'll butt up against this wood, and it'll be secured with the holes that's already in this that'll hold it in place. So this is our trailer bed, and it's come to, as mentioned, from the bottom up to this point is 2 feet, and from this point to there is 2 feet. The distance from the bottom of the metal up to the top of this is 2 feet. So sitting on top of a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, it's gonna raise it just a little bit above. So what's gonna happen is that's in reverse. What'll happen is the plywood will be attached to this railing here. It'll come up just a little bit above it and then cut at an angle to where we've got a 4-foot height ceiling, and it'll run along the side. This 2x4 will be secured into the side of our panels, and the panels, I'm going to frame them with 2x4s and rip them down to 2x2s. So this is a 1/4 inch, and you see it's quite thin, so this is going to make it very lightweight, but all anchored together with the 2x4s and such, we should be squared. This is going to work really well because it'll be anchored into the 2x4 and to the subfloor. And I'm also going to raise a little small footer bed, so we got an air cavity between this and the floor that Wesley or whoever using this will lay on top of. That'll create a space to kind of hold in the warmth a little bit better. So this is where things are right now. The lights dirty, but they seem to be okay. There is a ground wire here that I'll have to check on once we get it all together and hook it up. But otherwise, everything seems to be in pretty good shape. Wesley sanded this down a little bit more. He just went to go get some paint to put a finish coat on top of that. So all come together.
Why Jesus had to ask a question that seems so obvious.
I want to catch you up on what's happening with the trailer to camper conversion. There's only a little bit that's happened up to this moment, but I'm going to show you what's happened, and then I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to do today. You'll notice that all the wood on the top has been painted black. Also, you can see that I've added these little sub pieces all the way around. Now you might notice, of course, obviously the wood that's there, that's not painted black. That's going to be covered up, so you're not even going to see that once this is finished. I've also added this base coat because I had a little bit of this blue, and the blue is not going to be the finished color. It's just basically like a primer base of blue that I'm going to spray a truck bed black on top of. Okay, so as mentioned before, the wall is going to start on that edge, go up, go at about a 45-degree angle, and then go straight back, and it goes to the tail. So all of this area here is going to be the bed of the camper. The height is only 4 feet tall, but that's plenty enough to be able to sit inside, to lay out, and get plenty of comfort. On the back side, we're going to come in 18 inches or 1.5 feet, and this space is going to be our kitchen area. I'll build a top here, and there's actually a piece of wood. You see it right back there. That's a piece of wood that came from the land that I had years ago, and my kitchen table is actually made from this wood. So this is the last plank that I have. So that is actually going to be used to create our countertop for the trailer. So that's kind of a special piece for me. I'll put a piece here. It'll be probably 2 pieces and a little backsplash. So what the thought is right now is this is going to go up 4 feet, and I'm planning on having 2 holders that will hold the 2.5-gallon water tanks that you can buy from any grocery store. So it's an easy way to have water supply, and then you can have additional storage underneath down here. I mentioned that I got some lights. So we got 2 long lights and 2 short lights. The long lights will be used inside of the camper. The 2 short lights will be used in the little kitchen area that's in the back. Just got in yesterday. I picked up the tires. So these have been, they're brand new and been installed. So I'm excited about being able to put those onto the trailer. Those will give some significant better ride and just a better tire all the way around. The windows, I've got 2 of these, and I'm going to install those today, or at least cut out the holes for these. It's a little bit tricky on my part because I got to figure out the best way to do that. The last thing, is these are the side panels. So what I've already done is I've marked on here the lines of where this fits. So this is kind of the outer view of the passenger side. So as you see right here, the window is going to go approximately there, somewhere between this point and this point. I'm going to create a door that will go up, it will go at an angle, and then come down this line. This right here is a hinge that's going to be used for our kitchen access, where that'll open up. And well, this is where things are at this moment. We've also got some anchors that'll work for when the door is closed, to be able to make sure that stays latched. This is going to be what's called poor man's fiberglass. So I'm going to use a canvas drop cloth, and I'm using Type Bond premium wood glue, indoor, outdoor, and we're basically going to paint the entire surface with this and cover it with the canvas drop cloth. So this is going to create a covering for the entire. We might end up needing more than this, but this is just a really good starting point. So again, today the goal is to build my shell. We're going to be able to drop that in place, secure it to the side rails. The blue is going to be painted black with the bed liner paint, and I'll install the tires. A lot of things to happen today. I'll show you as we go along. I added the glue to the back side, and these are temporary screws. They're only here to hold this to the back. So you'll see that there's screws that are sticking out on the back side. But that's just to hold this panel in place while the glue hardens up, because I want this piece glued to this piece, and that's going to give us some rigidity. So this is 1/2 inch plywood to 1/4 inch plywood, and this is going to give us a more solid door. It's the end of the day. It's after 8 o'clock, and I am filthy, tired, my back hurts, but I've got a lot accomplished in my head. There's still a lot yet to be done, but let me show you what's happened and kind of catch you up with where this day wrapped up. I want to show you this first because I'm going to cut this down. I've already got my measures. It's 43 inches. And that is going to be the flooring inside of here. So we've got the walls secured in place. It's anchored. I'm going to have cross supports here. There's going to be a window on this side and a window on this side. So here you can kind of see the pencil lines that are there for that window, and the lines for the door have been drawn. It's kind of rough. You might not can fully see it very good because it's not very dark, but that's going to be the door. I'm actually going to take that piece when it's cut and make it a door. I put 1/2 inch plywood on the front of this. I'm also going to put a 1/2 inch plywood here, and the reason is this is going to receive the greatest amount of facing damage while being pulled down the road. This has been painted, so the flooring's going to go inside of here. I've got some gym flooring, that's the rubberized mats that I'm going to put on top of that flooring once it's down. Inside of here, I'm going to put the 1/4 inch plywood, which is this thick, against this wall. So this will make it a very thin wall. That's the wall with the door and the window, and another window over here. So this is all coming together. Again, this up here is going to be storage. Once this is completed, Wes could use this for carrying his bike, whatever, up front. And he'll have to figure out how he wants to do this. The wheels I have not yet put on, but they're in position. I just need to install them. And this is pretty much it. Like, I know this doesn't look like a lot compared to where I started, at least started today, but it's coming along. Tomorrow I'm gonna finish the walls. I'll finish the ceiling and the flooring, and I may be able to get this in place where I've actually got a little kitchenette space, and maybe go ahead and run wiring to be able to have lights on the inside. So
a lot needs to happen tomorrow. This weekend, this thing has to be done. So that's my goal. Again, it doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot of thinking that had to go into making this thing come together. It'll be really cool when I get it completed. So we'll see how this goes tomorrow. All right, peace out. Good Saturday morning to you. Already underway with the working on the trailer here. First thing I needed to do was put down some strips underneath that I'm gonna put my top layer of plywood to. Let me show you what I'm talking about. There was already the one piece up there, but I just added another layer here so they can come back from the wall, because there's going to be a kind of a sub wall in the back there, so the inside skin. So in order to have something to screw the plywood down to, I added another layer there. So this piece that I've got cut is going to come to almost to this line. So this will be the interior of our camper, and I've already cut that piece. Just cut off this strip that you see on the ground there. So this is going to be the subfloor for our camper. Today I'm going to build out the interior walls. I've already got the piece measured that's going to go in this section right here. One of these sheets will be the top right here. I've got to go ahead and cut out the windows and the door. Window on both sides here. And I think whatever I end up cutting for my window on this side, that'll be my template to put on that side. And the trick on this is I need to get the line directly in between these two for this to be the right dimension. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky. Anyway, this will be an interesting cut to try to make. So morning's fresh, birds are out singing. The weather's actually really pleasant right now. Haven't turned on the fan yet, which will be happening soon. Want to take advantage of as much of the cool as I possibly can before I'm sweating to death. And here we go. This is my early lunch. Showing you what I got in here. So there is egg cooked in a microwave. There's pork that I cooked in a crock pot a day ago. There's salsa, there's crema, there's cheddar cheese, and this is absolute deliciousness. Also, I got some tahini sprinkled on top to really pull out that flavor, and agua kefir for lunch. Agua kefir, excuse me. And this is the peach pina. I have this panel secured and this panel secured. I'm gonna add a brace down the middle on both of those, and there's going to be a panel on the back side of that, so that'll be a finished wall. I've got these glued in and secured just temporarily, so the glue can set. This is what's going to be cut out a little bit for where the window is. These screws will be removed at that point. Started one here, I've got to do another underneath. But anyway, this is coming along. We're starting to get an enclosed box. I'm not going to do the rest of this ceiling yet until I get a kind of a wall in place for this thing. So the ceiling will probably be one of the last things I'll do, simply because I want to make sure I've got the space in it. Not sure if I showed you this yet, but this is some decking that I put down in the very back. This is underneath where a little kitchen area is, so this will be nice underneath the cabinet space. And this is really coming together quite nicely. This is what the front of this looks like. This will have the poor man's fiberglass on top of this and painted, so you will not see any of this wood when it's done. There is some discoloration on this piece here. It's a piece that got outside for just a week. Just happened to rain during that time and got some discoloration. I've sanded it on both sides a little bit and knocked that down. But anyway, this is going to be the face, and this is 1/2-inch plywood here and here. That gives you just a better battering ram. This is nice and solid right now. 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch on the other side, and it'll be 1/4 inch on top. So this is coming along pretty nicely. So there's the rough cut opening for the driver's side, rough cut opening for the passenger side, and there, of course, is the door. And guess what? The window fits. It's pretty freaking awesome. So this is the window in place, just me holding it with my finger. It's not secured, but that looks really, really sharp. I'm so excited about this window. Haven't tried the other side yet. I'll do that in just a second. Okay, so this is the driver's side window. And what's cool about this one is it's a safety window. If for some reason that door is inaccessible, this one actually has a little latch on both sides, a safety latch, and this whole window will pop out. So this is really cool. I really like the way this one looks too. I'll zoom out just a little bit. Still having to hold it by hand because it's not secured in place, but that's the driver's side window. Continuing work on the trailer camper conversion. I haven't done as much today. There's several errands I had to run, but I did get a few things done, and I just kind of walk you through what's happening right now and where everything stands. So here goes. Okay, so this is the view of the trailer from the back, and I've got this piece of wood, and this is the same wood that my dining room table was made from, and this is wood that came from the land where my boys were mostly raised. So anyway, this is a plank that's going to work as a tabletop. There is a backer piece here, here, and here. So we basically got roughed in the area that's going to create a wall here. So this will create the back of the camper, and this is the cook space. Now, you'll notice that this is up here. This is just here temporarily. So it kind of gives you an idea of what the roof will look like. There will be another layer here that's added in eventually. But this is kind of where we're at. Also, I got some foam board today. This is going to be the insulation that's going to go inside on these walls. And so that's happening next. I've got to put a few more of these bracing pieces in here. This one is pretty good, but I want to have one down below. I want to have another on the front side there that kind of matches the same position as where that one is for the door. And I'll probably put one beneath the window here and one beneath the window there. And then there will be another across the top that connects this board here to the one that's going to be on this side. This will give you a reinforced ceiling. And also want to have one right across between the windows, so that has a lot more stability. So a few more supporting pieces that's going to go in here that's going to give my wall some rigidity. And it's actually very solid. It's not wiggly at all. And this is without the roof even being secured down yet. Now, Wes had the idea of basically closing this in here on the back side, and this becomes storage for inside of there. So his bed will go here, and then this area will just be storage, which I think that's actually a pretty brilliant idea. This way he has a place to put his bags and his wet shoes and whatever. This kind of opens things up a little bit. We're going to put some little lights up inside of here, and there'll be some lights, as I already mentioned, on the front side up there. So that's all yet to happen. Anyway, this is what's been accomplished today, which isn't a lot, but more is coming soon. So the next thing you're going to see will be the rest of the trim strip pieces, not really trim, the supporting wall pieces, the insulation, and then the plywood sheets that's going to finish out our walls and kind of give us an enclosed shelter. And then we move on to putting the poor man's fiberglass, wrapping the entire exterior of our camper. So this is where everything stands at the moment and coming together. A little bit of invention was needed here. Let me show you. This right here, attempted to fix it. It, over a year and a half ago, busted. I used gelled wind, whatever the the plastic welding for metal, and it did not hold. And this is without any applied force, it's just putting any effort on it. So what I did is I came up with a solution that actually is working quite well. Now, I don't have a ruler on it. That's okay. I usually already pre-measure before I get started, but this is what I'm doing. I secured this piece of hardwood with the original nuts that held the other down, or bolts, and went ahead and made my straight and 245 cuts on this thing. And this is solid and square. So that resolves my issue. Now I can finish my cuts. That was such a problem before. Got a visitor. It's late, it's 9:30, and I'm kind of wrapping up as far as what I can do going forward on the trailer tonight. I'm going to do some cleaning up before I wrap up, but just wanted to show you a little bit of what's been done. Because it's dark, it's nighttime, you'll see that I've begun putting in some of the insulation. This hasn't been glued, I'm just trying to cut the panels and get them in here. But I've also added all of these. As you go down through here, I've added those in. So I've got most of the support pieces in place, and this is what's going to allow me to screw straight into this for mounting my wall panels. So this is started, but it takes forever to cut those little pieces and to put them in place. And so making some headway, but didn't quite get as far as I wanted to. We'll tackle it tomorrow. I do have to say that this setup has been fantastic. This has definitely sped up production significantly. So loved being able to get this fixed. This has worked great, and might not be pretty, but I am quite thrilled with how it's worked out. So what I did is I drew out the measurements, and you see I've got it labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's upside down, but still works. There we go. This next piece is A, which is right here, and I've already got the piece cut. So we're gonna apply our liquid nails to the backside. All right, and then drop it in place. Now, one of the things I've been doing with this is bending it ever so slightly and then pressing it in. So there we go. Nice fit. I want to make sure I'm putting some extra pressure to make sure that liquid nails is getting contact. For this next bit, it's B, which is the window. Okay, so with this, I want to make sure to put glue all the way around this part. I'm not worried about having glue here because that's not going to stick to anything. So I'm going to apply it straight to the subsurface that the panel's going to be attached to. And B has already been cut. There's our B. All right, so let's glue it in. So I've got B glued in place, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, where's the window? Well, once the liquid nail sets up good, then I can go from the outside and basically cut out that window quickly. So no problems. So I've managed to get all the blue panels installed that I have. I've used up all the insulation that I already acquired, so I think I need another sheet. And the other sheet is going to finish this panel here, and the roof. So anyway, I've kind of literally boxed myself in because that over there is the door. So I've got to cut that from the outside after it dries. And this is a window, and this is a window. Anyway, this is the process, and it's not perfect, it's not beautiful, but here's the cool thing is once we put the sheeting on top of this, it looks finished and you don't see the insulation underneath. The insulation's job is not to look pretty. It's simply to hold the warmth or hold the cool in the space. Hopefully it does it well. All the effort to get these doors and windows cut out, they're now filled again with blue foam insulation. There's just something satisfying about seeing all of this blue in here. It really feels like I've gotten something accomplished. The next piece in order to move forward is to put the paneling, which is these sheets here, into the interior. So that's going to be some creative cutting. And I'm not 100% sure if I can do it just like I want to, but I'm certainly going to give it my best shot. One of the things I need to be mindful of is where each of these pieces are, so that the panels can actually be secured in by what will be a combination of a little bit of glue applied to those, as well as nails or screws. So that's my next big step. Right now, I'm on my way to the DMV office, and the reason is trying to get this trailer titled. Of course, this is North Carolina, and it's functioning as a camper instead of a trailer, so a little bit different dynamic there. I called the sheriff's office, and they said, we don't handle that, you'll need to go to the DMV. So I'm on my way and trying to get this situated and titled for the state of North Carolina. This is just one of the things about doing projects, is not everything works out smoothly, cleanly, easily, just like measure twice, cut once. I mean, there's things that you can try to do to get it all done right, but so often it's just a trial by error, and hopefully land upon the right thing. So right now, again, we're running to the DMV. I'm running to the DMV in order to try to get this thing, figure out what I need to do to get it titled properly. And with 12 days left until we leave, and having to have everything cleared out over the next week, this needs to happen sooner rather than later. Otherwise, it becomes a project for Wes to try to figure out. And I really don't want to have to put that on his shoulders fully, though it might have to wait to be fully officially registered in his name once he's 18. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But otherwise, here we go, and I'll let you know what happens. So what did I learn from the DMV this morning? There is a lady who works on Wednesdays 8 to 10 that deals with this, and this is not through the license plate office, but actually through the licensing office. So I call the number, there's nobody going to be there except for between 8 and 10. So I'll definitely be touching base with her next Wednesday, and hopefully we can move this forward. But what will happen is the trailer will have to be inspected, and we'll get a new title for this camper trailer. And that's kind of the next step. So that's kind of what we're looking for next in regards to this. Now, let me show you what's happened today. The entire inside of this has been insulated. So we've got the bottom pieces, and like I mentioned before, pretty is not the important thing. Right now, what we're looking for is insulation, and the insulation is in place. So this is where I overthink everything. What I've got to do is actually go through now and cut the pieces that I've already measured. What I'll probably do is the bottom, the top, and this side first. That'll kind of give me a good solid base. And I want to do those first because I'm going to actually put the lights up there and have a power supply. Now we're going to use something kind of cool. Everybody knows what this is. It's a cordless drill. This one happens to be a Porter cable, 20 volt lithium, and this little power supply is actually quite substantial. I have two of these batteries, and I have two drills, this one and a hammer drill. And what we're going to do with this is going to become the power supply for the lights that we're going to hang right there. Why? Is this becomes an easy rechargeable source to power the lighting inside of here.
Also, Wesley was going to buy another little thing that attaches to this that actually creates a outlet and a way to charge your phone from the second battery. So we'll be able to use one to power the thing, our camper, and another to charge his phone as needed. So this is kind of cool. This is a simple, easy way to provide power, and there's an adapter that I bought off of Amazon, ran me about $25, and it'll basically attach this straight into the power supply, allowing us to have power to the lights inside. Now that will be enough power to generate power for the lights that'll go there and the lights that will end up here once we're done. So this is going to be the power supply. This is going to hook up to that junction box I was talking about, and it's going to allow this battery to be power. That wire runs up through a hole that I put into the stud pieces, and it comes up here through a hole in the wood and comes out. This is the two wires, so one of those splits off and goes over to here and provides power to this light. So once I get this all in place, we're going to have two lights available to light up the space, and he can choose how much he wants. All right, I got both lights installed. That's going to be the power supply like I just mentioned, and these little guys look great. It'll provide quite a bit of light for this space once it's all completed. I decided to add the same wood that's here as a little side piece. There's a little bit of a bow in it, but again, this is a camper. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can use a sander and take some of this edge down. But really, I just wanted to kind of trim it out a little bit with this wood. It's rough and it's storied rather than just a perfect piece, but I kind of like that. All right, I've cut out the window from the foam. I still have to put on the panel, and I just added another piece on the bottom here. I'm going to probably put a piece here in the middle. Kind of wrestling with this because there's not a whole lot to adhere to. So I'm either going to put a piece that's going to run this way, or I'm going to put a piece that runs across, and that gives me a few more things to actually anchor into for our rear panel. Still thinking about that one. The ideal is probably to put two more upright pieces here. That gives me something to screw into, and I think that's what I'll probably end up doing. But anyway, making progress. All right, getting started with my morning, and weather is fantastic. I'm gonna take advantage of it cool for just a minute, and let me show you what I'm getting ready to do. Okay, for this, I've got these pieces that the panels can adhere to, but you'll notice here in the corner, it goes flush with this piece. So what I need to do is add on a little strip attached to this that I can then screw the panel to. So I need to add something that's about that thick. So this is going to give me a layer to have something to anchor into on this side and down here in the corner. Along the way, I've got little blocks that provide that. But I've already got a piece that's that thickness, so I'm going to cut those down, secure those in with some glue and screws, and cut this panel out. So here goes. That whole measure twice and cut once ain't no joke. I haven't cut yet, and I'm still working on what I'm trying to do. Let me walk you through the complexity of this real fast. Now, looking at this, you could think, okay, this is pretty basic math. We shouldn't have too much trouble. You basically measure from here to here, from there to the very back of the trailer, from the floor to the ceiling, all of this, and it should go on a notebook. And it does. Here's my dimensions. And what's crazy with this is more than just a basic math problem. I'm dealing with variables in this, and so these numbers have actually changed once I got those first panels that are here on the front of the trailer. Once I got that measurement and those panels put in place, it shifts things ever so slightly. And so getting these measurements drawn out, you can see here's the beginning of all these lines to create the cutout that is going to be the panel for the driver's side of our truck. Here's the crazy thing.
notice there's two lines. And the reason is because I had to shift this measure so it worked properly, which then shifted the placement of this line. So this line's been cut. This is going to be the new one, which then shifts slightly here. I'm giving myself a room of error or a margin of error so I can get this in place when I put it up. This is the nature of working in 3D space. Is on paper, nice and clean and easy. But when you're dealing with cutting things and construction, you're then dealing with variables that can come into play. So that's just the nature of working in physical product. So here goes. Okay, here it is. We now have the walls up. Definitely gonna need some trim pieces to kind of run the edges of this thing, but that's another project for another day. Right now, I've got to cut out the door and the two windows, and then we're gonna do the poor man's fiberglass. So this is a huge, huge step. There's still some things to do. For one, this is one of the challenges you run into with trying to measure and pre-cut, and things don't go perfectly. So I'm gonna fix this. I've got a little piece I'll patch. Already had a plan to fix this anyway with a separate little piece. So I've got to go ahead and frame this here just like I wanted to. So I'll probably go from here to there and down, but I'll do it in two pieces. So this is here because I'm going to put a panel behind this after the windows and doors are cut out. So this will be closed in. I'll go ahead and put this patch here, and man, we're moving right along. I got the little adapter. It's been wired in, so red is to white, black is to black. Ground, it's not necessary for this kind of application. And here's my lithium 20-volt battery. Just basically set it inside of this little box. Snaps in place. Now there is an on-off switch on this. I've already got it in on position. And here we go. So with these, there is a light that allows you to do a single and double. So single and double. And so that is ample light for this little space. It's 9:30 and I've had a long day in the heat, but very productive. So the majority of the construction part is done. The entire thing has been built. What will remain is after we put on the poor man's fiberglass as our coat, we can then put on the hinges for the doors and things like that. So everything's prepped and primed for that to happen. It's dark, just a little bit of light out here, but here's the trailer, and I've already put the drop cloth canvas on it. It's not been glued down or anything, but I got it positioned centered, and you'll notice that while there is some overhang, there's not enough to completely cover all of the body. So one more small drop cloth will be needed to complete the construction of this thing. This is the actual door that's going to go on the back of the kitchen area. The other door is inside of here. That's going to be for this space. The windows are in the garage, and I got this thing situated outside so it's ready for the morning. Early in the morning, I can start putting on the poor man's fiberglass and get this ready to go. So here's the other aspect to this, is this has to be cleared out pretty much over the next week. A good portion of those things on that side are from Matt and Wes, and the bulk of this other stuff is just odd and end tools and things. Some I will keep, all the tools and things I'll keep, I guess. We got to pare this down and get it into some kind of semblance of order so that it's ready to go. Anyway, it's been a long, tiring day, and I'm excited to be at this point where we can actually see some progress and be able to jump on this thing in the morning. So those who've been following and you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is the Are We There Yet channel. Why are you doing a trailer build, or excuse me, a trailer to camper conversion build and sharing this whole process. Thought you guys were leaving. And we are. We are leaving June 16th, and that's just a few days away. Got one more big event, which is Wesley's graduation. So that'll be happening soon, next Friday, in fact. And then we leave out of here the following Tuesday. This is crazy, guys, but my cousin Robert Sykes said it's a Sykes trait. We like to work under pressure, so maybe that's the case. Anyway, looking forward to having this thing built, completed, painted, and ready for Wesley to enjoy. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Peace out. All right, so Wesley and I started this process. He's doing all the hard work, but we're putting down the glue, and this is the Type Bond 2. So we're basically spreading it on, and then about a foot at a time, and then basically trying to get all the wrinkles out as it sticks. The next layer, we're gonna mix glue with some white paint that'll work both as a top coat and also a primer base, because this canvas is gonna soak up the stuff for sure. Top panel first. Once we've got it, then we'll try and do the sides. But this is gonna go all the way down the front, and we'll trim off the excess at that point. So Wes and I have been working on this for the better part of the morning, and we've made really good progress. So right now, grab this. Right now, Wes and Matthew are running to Valhalla to do some open mat wrestling. And while they're doing that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and just kind of take account of what needs to be done kind of going forward. But let me show you the camper at this moment. Now, I've been showing you this a little bit as we're going along, but the front panel has been done. We're going to add this little bit of a trim down at the bottom. The frayed edges actually work really, really well for overlap and kind of gluing into the fibers. And so this will give us a nice hard edge along the bottom that kind of reinforces that corner, since that's going to be the brunt force corner with wind shear and such. So the little overlaps here, you don't have to worry about those. These are going to be trimmed even with the door. But this is, you want to go past it a little bit to glue it in. And once we put the next coat, this is going to really start getting solid. Like, this is already starting to happen right here. Wesley's already trimmed in the windows on both sides, and he did a great job. So here's the side panel, and yeah, there are seams, but that's okay. I kind of like the look of everything it is at this moment. There's our door. It's already been glued down on the front and sides. And the back, I'm gonna cut this clean in a little bit so that we just have a nice front face here. Might do a little bit around that edge just to kind of hide it like that. I like that look. Kind of reminds me of box speakers in the day. So this has already been glued around to the front. The facing side and the overlap, I just need to cut the excess that goes past that 2x2. Same on this side as well. Anyway, it's coming along really good. We've got that panel, this panel here, the back, which is our door, which will be attached here on the top, and those three panels on this side. Going to need a little bit more material. This is enough to do one panel. There may be enough scrap to do another panel, but I really don't want to get to piecemealing the whole thing. I'd rather just use actual squares or rectangles. There's probably another piece there big enough to make one panel. So we're still going to need some more glue canvas in order to wrap this thing up. So that's everything at the moment. Tan lines? Dude. Good morning, everybody. It's June the 7th, Sunday. And we've got just one more Sunday after this before we hit the road and begin our multi-year travel plans. And so wrapping up one of the big projects that I've tackled over the past month, which has been the camper build. You can kind of see it over my shoulder there. And I want to kind of walk you through where it's at and what's going to be done today that should bring this thing to a conclusion. So there's a solid coat on the whole thing. Today I'm going to touch it up in the light, and the variation of color and such that you're seeing right now should be cleared up with one more coat. Now all of this across the bottom is going to be made black, so that coat's fine. We're just going to kind of cover that. The top is going to be repainted with a green. We'll be adding on the door for the back right here, and that door is sitting right there. Again, the bottom's going to be black. And over here on this side, we got a window to install. And right here, I've got another door to add in. That's also on the ground right there. And we got 2 no tires to install. We'll do that today. And just touching up all the black all the way around. So the camper is just about done. It's about wrapped up. What I was explaining last night on the video, and nobody could hear it because the sound did not record. So hopefully this is going to be good. You can hear the birds. One thing I'm going to love finding in other cities that we travel to is the birds. So one of the things I discovered is mixing Titebond with paint does something kind of weird. It actually creates this odd thick paste that actually had to be applied with a trowel. It would not roll on with the paint brush or roller. So anyway, this kind of created an interesting layer that feels neat. It's nice and hard right now, but just a different thing altogether. So anyway, here's the camper, and we're wrapping it up today. It's 4:20 Sunday afternoon, and everything is assembled. There's still some little stuff that needs to be done as far as the assemblage part that's really small, like putting the seals around the doors, both the side door and the back door. Another coat of paint needs to go on this thing. I have not painted more of the green yet. It's just too hot. It'll dry fast, and which is great, but also it'll dry in the pan. It's so hot out here. So I'm going to wait on that until it cools off down this evening. But I want to show you what the thing looks like so far. Okay, so here's the trailer. And I have painted this side and the back side, the black, as intended. I still want to paint that little lip right there by the door with black. I kind of ran out of the paint that I had, so I need to get some more of that. But anyway, the 3 hinges on the door. It's got a doorknob, and it latches on the inside. I've got the windows installed, which these look great. I really love these windows. Great deal. This is a Facebook Marketplace find for $20 each. I got these little side latches here, so Wes can put a little lock on this thing and keep it contained. Here's the back. Again, the bottom is painted black, the top's green. You see there's another coat of green needed. Also, I need to put a bead of caulk right across this bottom edge right here of this, and that'll happen later. And then there's this side, and you'll notice the varied shades of green, and it's because we need more coats. So that'll happen when it cools down a little bit. Again, I got a little latch on this side, another window on this side. And like I mentioned before, this has those little safety mechanisms. So this is a pop-out window. And see how I've managed to set this up for the door latch. It's attached to that little cleat that's on the wall. And you'll see, because I haven't trimmed out the door with any kind of... Dude, I'm so hot and out of it. We need to put a little seam around that that's going to provide a seal. Seal's the word I was looking for. Okay, and tires need to be changed, but when it's close to 100 degrees, it is not time to be changing tires unless you actually have to. And I don't need to right now. Front, we're gonna leave this green in the front. That's what Wes's call was. So this is looking pretty good. Anyway, all the way around. And black's gonna go on the other side as well. But that's the trailer. Getting started with probably the final coat of paint on the camper trailer, and just happened to see a really cool bug when I was setting things up. Anyway, today it's going to be a kind of a nice wrap up to this whole process. Putting on the green coat first, and then I'll come back with the black and add it at the bottom. So as we're in this space, we're against the wall with a fixed timeline. We leave a week from tomorrow for Europe. We leave this house this Saturday as we pack up the last of our things, put them in storage, and we'll actually be spending the night with our daughter Fletcher in Sanford. So, are we there yet? No, but we're in process. So, what an adventure. What a beautiful morning. The birds are singing like crazy. The weather's fantastic. And such is life. So here goes another day of knocking things out to get ready to go. The green is all done. I've got a good, nice coating on everything. And even though there's overpaint here and things like that, I'm getting ready to paint this all back black in just a minute. So I'm not really worried about the overage there. Worked out pretty good though as far as color. The tone's much more even with this next coat. And next thing for me is to paint black what needs to be black, to caulk in the seams, change the tires, and this thing's good to go. And there's our pretty bug again. Maybe he's the mascot. The camper is done. Everything's been painted, and there's a few places that definitely is going to need another coat. And there's already 3 coats of paint on this thing, plus the poor man's fiberglass base with glue. But I think it's just the nature of this canvas material. It really absorbs the paint. So I think now this next coat will definitely wrap it. And I'm going to pass that on to Wesley. But let me actually walk you through this thing and give you the details of what in the world happened. Okay, so here it is in its full glory. And you'll notice that the door, that's the one area where this thing still has a little bit of a slight discoloration. It's that door with the wood and the canvas pulled tight is just needs some more paint. And so we'll get that taken care of. The bottom's been painted, but I'm gonna give you some homage to some interesting things. So this was on the original trailer from Trish's dad, and this was a tie down. And so what I thought would be neat is to paint it the same tone with a spray paint. And this is for hanging his towels. When he goes camping, it's a great way to kind of handle what to do with his wet towels for the evening. The door has a little turn knob, latches on this piece, and I've got a gasket seal all the way around. This is things that he can kind of add to. You'll notice there's the screens. Wesley took those out when he washed the windows. But this is looking good. I like the triple hinges, and the black accent with the green to me is really sharp. Finally got the wheels in place, and I love the black rims with the black tires and the black base for this. It kind of has a ruggedness and a toughness to the overall. Right now, the spare tire is just loose, sitting here. I mentioned to Wesley the idea of getting something maybe that attaches to the front right here and provides like an anchor, almost like what you put on the front of a car for hanging the tire. I think that might look neat. Excuse me, not the front of a tire, but the rear of a tire car, but put on the front there. We talked about possibility of adding some coated fencing, and by that, something like a wire fencing that could go inside of here and kind of create a cage for this space. Here's this side, which now you can see all the black on the bottom. It really looks sharp. I really like the way that came together. I'm going to wrap the wires on the bottom here. I think this look is a little tacky for me. So I want to go ahead and put black electrical tape around that to kind of give you a solid closed-in presentation of our wiring. This will be his cleanup area, his cooked area. He'll be able to store his water and food prep stuff here. When he's camping, this is just a good way to do that. And he'll just set his little stove to the side over here on a little pop-up table. So this is just a way for that to happen. This just happens to be a piece of wood, you see it's even rough cut, that sits perfectly and holds this thing level. So this is perfect. Now for me, at my height, I just am underneath here, but it goes all the way to the top. I'm kind of having to bend just a little bit just to fit the space. Plus he's a little shorter than I am, so that'll work perfectly for him. All right, so the camper is done. There's still little things, just like owning a boat and everything else. There's always little things you can do to keep adding to and fixing things, but this is where it's at and in its complete state.